What's up, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. I figured I'd drop in and make a little video about veganism and specifically discussing what were the three main reasons why I personally went vegan. When people go vegan, people generally do it for various reasons. For example, people can go vegan for the environment, the environmental impact of a vegan diet. People can go vegan for the animal welfare aspect of veganism. And people can go vegan for their health. And for myself, on my personal journey towards veganism, I went vegan for all three of those reasons. It was a combination of my personal health, of the environmental impacts, and of the animal welfare. So just to provide a little bit of some context as to how those reasons came together in the way that they did, it was first, we're talking about a little bit more over 10 years ago now, when I was in college. And at that time I had some health issues that I had going on, which I can talk about at another time. But I was at this point in my life where my health wasn't all that great, and I was open to change in a way that I didn't really know what that looked like. But when I first started learning about veganism, it kind of came together all at the same time. So specifically for the environmental reasons, I was studying environmental engineering at that time, and I remember I was specifically in an air quality class at that time. And in that air quality class, we were learning about the various aspects of pollution, contamination, what the sources of these contaminants are. And I remember it blew me away learning the fact that animal agriculture is one of the largest contributors of greenhouse gas emissions. Prior to that, I thought, it was not animal agriculture, but I quickly learned that it was. And one thing that blew me away was the fact that cows in particular, they utilize a lot of resources. When you're raising livestock, they use large amounts of land, they consume large amounts of water, and they create a lot of contamination to local water sources. They're one of the leading causes of deforestation. And methane, if you didn't know, is it's a compound that cows produce when they fart. And the thing about this chemical compound is that it's, if I remember correctly, around 20 to 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So point being that farts of cows are actually quite potent in a detrimental way in terms of environmental impact. Anywho, now when it comes to the animal welfare part, around that time, I got exposed to a couple of documentaries such as Earthlings and What the Health, and it really opened my eyes to the state of health of Americans based on the standard American diet. And it also showed me that modern agriculture isn't what one would think. Because prior to watching these documentaries, personally, I never made the connection between the food that I was eating and where that food actually came from. And these documentaries helped me realize that the burger that I was eating at that time, or that chicken that I was eating, like, it was an actual animal that lived a life. And oftentimes, unfortunately, these animals are living very, very poor lives. They're living under very hard conditions, often being confined in very small spaces. Their quality of life is very poor. They're often injected with hormones, antibiotics, you name it, and they're slaughtered in a horrendous way. So, believe it or not, all of that has an impact on the human body. Third law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it only changes form. So when these animals are dying in a horrendous and in a way that is full of suffering on a very subtle level, that's being transferred onto the individual that's consuming it. And the third reason why I went vegan was for my personal health. So as I mentioned, I was experiencing some health challenges, and I quickly learned that eating a plant-based diet can be a way to lower your risk for cardiovascular disease. It can reduce overall inflammation in the body, and depending on how you eat a vegan diet, you can create more of an alkaline state rather than an inflammatory state in the body. So having some health issues myself, I figured that would be a great reason to do it. So interestingly enough, for myself, maybe it's different for you if you're vegan or know anyone who is, but all of these came together at the same time for me. And once they all kind of came together in the way that they did, it was a no-brainer, and I decided to make the switch. And didn't happen overnight, but once I committed to it, I eventually made the transition from a meat eater to a full-on vegan, and I did that for 10 years. So I hope you found some insight within this video. I'm just sharing my journey towards veganism, and I'd love to hear your journey or any way that you can relate to this. But I'm very, very thankful that these things happened at that time in my life. And I think I'm a healthier person overall because of it. So anywho, I hope you're all doing well, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.